Hi, Sav. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Now I can hear you.
And
I,
now I can hear you.
you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good,
I was
good.
I was beginning to think that something was wrong because nobody else has signed in yet.
Oh, well.
How are you? Oh, here comes
Very.
Hiram.
Yeah, good, good. Doing well, doing well. Thank goodness, getting
Oh, Hiram.
older,
Hey guys, how you doing?
All
doing
right.
well, doing well. I did get my income tax done and actually got a federal refund.
Oh,
So Herbie
Well,
helped me out last time,
that's
last
good
week,
because
last month or something.
they
Anyway.
knew you needed the money.
Well,
yeah.
I was real concerned about the house, and
Yeah.
selling the house, but I did oh gosh, what is it? TurboTax, and I bought online advice, and I got this guy online. I had done some work. You had told me a couple of things that triggered me to do some totals, and so when I got him online, I had some numbers, and so we just popped on through it, and we spent some time though. I mean, he didn't wasn't one, two, three, but he did help me out quite a bit. So
Well, that's
Good.
good.
got uh, got it done. Because I was sweating it out, really. I was like it was just driving me crazy.
I've
But
had the same guy doing our income tax for 30 years.
serious.
He's
Do you
he's
get
now
refunds?
90. He's now 92.
But do you get refunds?
Gonna keep
Um,
keep him until he gets it
Usually
right.
I pay feds and I get Jersey back,
Do you?
and it works out about even.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I had Maryland, North Carolina, federal, those three.
Yeah.
And, selling a house in one area and moving to another area. Uh, and for the capital gains, I don't even,
Yeah.
all that business. But anyway, it worked out okay. Sam, good
Hey,
evening. Good
Hi,
evening.
hey, how are
Sam.
you? How you doing?
Very well. Doing
Good. How
very
Looking
you
well.
looking
doing?
good as usual.
Yeah,
Not
well,
not
I think
looking close to
young.
your age. Not even looking close to your age. Looking great.
Um, but the different parts of your body know that you're 80. That's for sure.
I hear you, brother. I hear
Ooh.
you.
They remind you, like, oh no, not again. But
Gentlemen, I will, at some point, if you see me turn my back to you, about 3 weeks ago, I came down with an acute um, virus, and it's been messing up my lungs and so
really,
yeah, and I'm past the contagious period. I don't spread it to me. I haven't been out of the house for 2.5 weeks.
whoa, really.
Um,
Mm,
Well, you
you know,
sound okay. How do you feel?
I'm getting there. I mean, I feel 100% better than I did 2 weeks
there's a
ago.
lot of coughing.
A lot of coughing and so forth. It's a bronchitis, um, and even once you get to the point where you're not um, contagious anymore, it some people have takes they say 2 to 4 weeks to get through it afterwards, and I know a couple of people it's been a couple of months. Uh, but I think I'm doing pretty well. Sam and Gary and Pete and I are going to get together for lunch. We were
Yeah,
supposed to do it
we've
tomorrow.
heard that story before.
Yeah, we were supposed to do it tomorrow, so, but now we're not. Gary and Pete have both said no. Uh, they wanted to wait until I get out of my self-contained.
They didn't even ask me for a vote.
And well, Sam, we could still revolt and
I'll tell you what, Morris. You get the feeling okay, and I'll come down
yeah.
for lunch. Okay.
Well, yeah, that sounds good. We'll talk to them, Sam, about
Sure. Sure.
thinking about the third week of June.
Okay. I'm
You
game all summer, so
yeah.
I'm
So
around.
I'll check. Gary's got a process going on tomorrow, a medical process. So I think he'll be here. But I'm not positive.
Well,
And
if it wasn't
Sounds Bob. Bob
What-
Stebbins. Yeah, I'm sorry I can't get up there to see you guys. This every month we have some kind of a weekly thing to do. We just got back from Oregon, and then I've got to go to Maryland again, back to Maryland later this month, third weekend this month, by the way. And it's just been one thing after another, and
Yeah.
just getting old, and these things trips are getting longer and
Yeah.
harder. I'm not really enjoying, being away from home anymore.
Yeah. Uh, Steve Tarando sent me a note and indicated his granddaughter has graduation this evening. So
Oh
I'll
yeah.
be joining in.
That reminds me, Morris, did your grandson is he going to Rutgers?
Yes, he
Oh,
did.
good, good.
He did. He's
So,
going to Rutgers.
so I hope he's got you some good seats for those games then.
Well, I got, they give parents seats.
I'm sure they
Rutgers
do.
probably has the worst seats for the parents of
Oh, really?
the Big Ten.
Oh, wow. I thought they would be on 50-yard line.
Hey
Yeah.
Bob.
Is this a different
guys, how you doing?
grandson?
Yeah. In
Not the
fact,
one
I
that was
went
in
out and I
Illinois.
bought 5 tickets,
Wow.
in the middle of the field, that
Okay.
I go back to them and so forth.
Well, I hope it's a fun season for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see.
Is this another grandson or the one from Illinois transferred?
No, the one from Illinois transferred.
Oh, okay.
It was amazing. Liberty University offered him the most money. They offered him 400 grand to go play for them. And I
Wow.
mean, just crazy, crazy stuff.
What was his sport? What sport did he play?
Football.
Oh,
And so he was going to Temple. They had given him a nice offer. And at the last moment, the day before, or maybe early in the day, he was supposed to sign with Temple. Rutgers popped in and said, "Don't sign yet. We want to talk to you." And so his parents and him spent about 9 hours in New Brunswick with the coach and different people and so forth, and he wound up signing with them. And and probably a good thing for him. So we'll see. We'll see.
I hope you have a successful season, though.
Yeah, I do too. I hope they do. Bob, how are you doing?
Hi, Morris. Can
Hey,
you hear
Bob.
me?
How you
Hey,
doing?
Bob.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
We-
What's up there, Robert?
Same old, same old. Pretty
Another
exciting.
color.
Yeah. So
hey, let me ask you guys a question. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you finished, Morris?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you a question. I have been looking all over for my Hiram Scott diploma. Did you all get? Did we get one? Did you guys get one, or
I got one. I got one.
Yeah.
did you? Everybody?
Ours was on paper. Yours was probably on that magic paper that disintegrates.
It's been so old it rotted away, probably.
Yeah.
Darn, I can't. I've got some letters and got some, certificates of, my grades and stuff, but no actual diploma. But
Did you really graduate? Huh?
I don't know if I did or not. To tell you the truth.
Doesn't make much
Yes,
difference.
of course. Yes, I stuck it out. Though.
There you go. That's the important thing.
It was an incredible feat, but I managed, getting through.
I sometimes
When I
want to.
came back right after that, when I came back from Hiram Scott, I got a job and they drafted me in 69 right away, 68, late 68, and sent me off. And when I came back, I used the GI Bill and went back to Maryland, where I started, but I didn't do very well. So I did finish up in Maryland though. Well, the GI Bill, which was more money than I was got.
Oh, it paid very well. It paid very well. I went back to
Yeah,
19. Oh,
yeah. Well, see,
I
absolutely.
didn't want to graduate from my second thing because I was making so much money.
I know what you're saying, and it was amazing too. And I said, well,
Oh,
you know, they owe me this.
yeah, there you
So
go. There you go.
Sal,
I
did you
agree.
not graduate from Hiram Scott then?
Who's that?
Sal.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah,
He did. He just
I
can't find
mean,
it.
Sav.
Oh, yeah, I did.
yeah, yeah,
February of
Okay.
69. February 69.
yeah,
Okay. I thought you did.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I did, and yeah, you know, I just couldn't find any paper, you know, the right kind of paper anyway. So,
Hmm.
You can probably, if you want a copy, you could probably go to the University of Nebraska and get one.
think really, I don't
Yeah,
know. I may
Yeah,
try that.
University of Nebraska has all the records from
yeah, they
Hiram
had all the
Scott.
records. So I can print you one up off the internet if you want me to.
Yeah,
Just
hey,
send me
listen,
yours. I'll white out your name.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That'd be a lot easier.
Hey,
well,
here's something to think about for our next meeting, guys. Okay, we're all 50, 60 guys. Okay, everybody had cars. Come up with a number of cars and the cars you've had through your life. Okay, because I was thinking the other day, I've had over 30 cars in my lifetime.
Really?
Well, if I have, maybe other people have had that, that many too.
Not that many.
So some of them are very forgettable. Some were pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I had 5 cars.
Oh, is that
I
all?
may I may be on my fifth or sixth one. I'd have to think
Oh,
about
that's
it.
on forever.
But I had the most fun with my oldest car. And I bought a stick shift 58 Chevy baby blue.
Okay.
And it was a 6-cylinder on the column,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Three on a tree.
and 3 on the tree. And so, an ingenious person as I am, I had some really good friends, and we pulled the 6-cylinder out engine, pulled the transmission out. I looked inside my under the hood, and I'm saying, "Oh my God, I didn't know what I've done." You know, we went to the graveyard. We went to the junkyard and walked out among all the cars. They don't do this anymore, but you could walk out where all the cars were stacked on each
Yeah.
other. Found a station wagon with 34,000 miles on it. Had a 283, and I said, and it was $250. I said, I'll take it. And had a friend that had a truck that came and picked it up and brought it over to my house, and we dropped it in my car, and I learned so much about cars.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to. You
They were
have to.
they were easy to work on them though.
They were very easy to
Yeah.
work on. Very easy.
I don't
Not so
know.
much,
I
not
had
so much anymore.
between two cars, it was about 32 years.
Wow.
I tended to keep the
Wow.
cars a long time. I
You
just
do.
I had a 2016 Jeep 75th anniversary, and I just gave it to my granddaughter for her 16th birthday. It's got 141,000 miles on it. I keep them, and if it wasn't for giving it to her, I'd kept it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's good for 200 plus. So the
No,
cars will do that now. I
yeah.
have a remember from Hiram Scott. Bob Stebbins had a ~56 Chevy, and I think he burned a bearing in it or something. And didn't you, Bob?
Yes, sir.
And there was a guy there. It was during final weeks, and there's this guy on the parking lot who was a mechanic. He took the damn thing apart and built the engine for you. You remember
He
that?
did.
Yeah.
I told him that I was using some oil, or not. I didn't have enough oil in the tappets up top, and so he put some kind of a slug in the oil pump. By the
Okay.
time I got back to Chicago, it was smoking like a mosquito abatement. Uh,
Do you
How about
remember
that?
Paul Hazel's car?
Absolutely.
Any of you remember
Was it a
Paul
Hudson?
Hazel's?
Wasn't it a
The
Hudson?
Hudson, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Green
The
Hornet,
Green
yeah.
Hornet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did he buy that out there, or did he come with it?
I think he did. Yeah, I think he
Okay.
did.
Okay.
He
I,
probably went out to Terrytown and bought it at the auction.
I think
You
so, yeah.
well, Bob and I bought a '51 Ford out there for $50, I think, and
Yeah, it lasted a week.
and it lasted a week.
Yeah, blue water jacket.
There's a woulda, coulda, shoulda. We should have kept that car because
Probably.
the '51 convertibles, man, they're worth some money. Of course, they obviously got to be in pristine condition, but
I had a louvered hood too. Remember that?
yeah, and the top actually worked.
Yeah. How about my 54 Buick? Remember that tank?
Yes, yes,
The
and
blue one? No muffler on it?
you when you got rid of that, what'd you buy? Was that when you bought the '56 Chevy?
I'm not sure. I had so many cars.
You did, and you had a 50. Didn't you have a '59 Chevy? Or
I
am I
did.
wrong? And you had
Yeah,
an
that had
and
good pipes on it.
then you had an Oldsmobile,
The
right?
64 Olds.
Yeah, I like that one.
That was a nice car.
That was a nice car. That was the last one I
What
remember.
year was that?
64.
No, what year did you have the 64?
That would have been 66.
8, probably.
No, you weren't there in 68. You left in 67.
Did I? Okay, I
Yes.
guess that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we were roommates all the way up through 67. So,
Okay.
Well, you
Oh, you
left
survived it.
school, Bob, in 67, or you
I'm sorry?
graduated in 69?
Really? I don't remember that, Bob. I remember you to be there longer.
oh, he transferred.
God.
He transferred to Northwestern.
No, not North. I would never get Northwestern, but
Oh, you didn't? Oh, Northeastern.
Northern Illinois.
Oh, Northern Illinois. Oh,
Same thing.
hey,
Same
you
thing.
should let me
different.
go on with Northwestern, man.
Yeah.
When did you leave Hiram Scott?
Well,
He
like
left
69 or 68, I guess.
for spring of 67. You left.
That could be.
Yeah, it is.
Hello, Gary.
Well, good evening.
Hey, Gary.
Sorry to be late, but I love my computer. I'm in love with it.
All right.
Gotta stay away from that porn stuff. That will get you all the time.
That'll screw your
Sam,
computer
Sam
up,
is speaking
Gary.
from experience.
You hit the wrong site and you get all that kind of information coming to you forever.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Well, I must say, I'm shocked. I thought Bob graduated in 69 with the rest of us nuts.
I probably should have. Should have stayed there. Yeah, I go 3 hours short of my degree and I got drafted.
We were in such
And
a
they
hurry to
wanted me to
graduate.
report with my draft. They wanted me to report on the day we were graduating
Oh my God.
in 69. And
Did you?
no,
No.
my parents had called the draft board and said, he's graduating college. Can we postpone it? And they said, yeah, we'll give you 30 days. So I enlisted anyway, so it didn't matter.
Well, I must have had a really good draft board because I was good forever. I had to go down and tell the draft board out of school. Actually, nobody would hire me because of my college classification. I was sure I was gonna. I was sure I was gonna fail the physical. Of course, I didn't.
I was selling shoes when right after I came back from Hiram Scott. I sold some shoes at Han's shoe store. It was an elite store. I had to wear a tie and a jacket.
You
All
were
right.
just after women, Sav. That's
And
all.
I did work in the women's section. Bob.
Massaging their feet.
I knew where to go. I swear this is the truth. I don't mean to dominate the conversation, but I'm going in the back room to pull some shoes out of the wall, like 7Bs. All the women wear 7Bs, by the way. No matter what size shoe they wear, 7B. And I walk down the aisle and there's this woman in the back, and I'm swearing, this actually happened. She was over there putting on nylons and attaching her garter belt to her nylons because we required them to put on footies or have nylons on or have, socks on. But you don't wear socks. Women didn't wear socks. So I go back there and I look at what is going on back here? I was shocked, man. I was, got a whole bunch of boxes, and took my time in the aisles, but it was quite a surprise.
You were pervy even back then, huh?
Back then, I couldn't resist. Yeah.
Hey, Sam,
Yes, sir.
remember Ann Nicodemus?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I can't believe I remember that name. I guess I heard it a lot. That
Well-
bitch.
I remember all their names.
Boy.
All their names.
They've probably forgotten me, but that's okay.
What about the Indian? I guess the Indian Barry was running around with?
No, she was Mexican, wasn't she?
Mexican,
Yeah.
yeah.
I never knew
And
that.
you too.
No,
Yeah, you too. Both of you.
I don't think so. But he, for I don't know where he met that girl, but he would just drive down there on Friday night, and she must have been waiting for him every time because he'd come back with her every time. And then he wouldn't see her for 2 or 3 weeks, and but she was always there. She was cute too, as I recall.
I'll never forget you and him. You were into it. Mhm.
Oh me.
I
What,
don't
what,
know.
how long? How many was it? 2022 Barry passed. Was that 22? Was that three
What's
years
that?
ago? Was that 3 years ago that Barry passed?
It had to be
Okay,
almost three.
I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember. It's just and I guess that's the last time I saw you. So
Hold on. Got it right here.
Gary's got every yearbook that was ever published at Hiram Scott.
I wish I'd have kept mine. I let when my mother passed away, I was cleaning out the house. I go, I don't want to haul that stuff back to Connecticut, and I just got rid of it. And I've regretted it ever since. One of the few things I should have kept held on to.
Here we go. He was born May 26 and 45. He died August 2nd of 22.
Okay. That's been 3 years. Yeah. Do you ever hear from his wife?
She's not talking to me.
Oh, would you piss her off?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
It's like a family feud. Um, we had another cousin that I was in charge of. I was the executor to her estate, and I had nothing to do with wills and stuff like that, but I was the executor. And it's a long, involved story, but the one that I was taking care of said that didn't put anybody else in the will except me.
So she's blaming you, huh?
Yeah, so she came out and blamed me. And I told him, I said, hey, because we don't have many cousins left. Come up to the other person's house. I said, whatever you want, you can have.
Yeah.
I mean, I got my own house. I don't need all this crap. But no, even Barry Jr. I had him over a couple of times, and I gave him a ton of photographs of down the shore, down in Ocean City.
Yeah.
And I called down there, and she would never answer my phone call, or never call me back.
Strange.
Yeah. And so, it's like a family feud.
People are funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, do you guys remember? I don't remember who else went, but Gary, I'm sure you were there. We went to Barry's house in Ocean City and went over. There were 4 or 5, 6 of us, and went over to Wildwood to the Tony Mart's bar.
Mm-hmm.
They had like 3 bands. I mean, this place was huge. Do you remember that, Gary?
Yes, I do. I remember driving down there,
Yeah.
and
And I think Ocean City's still dry, isn't it?
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, it's still dry. We were down at Second Street, if anybody's familiar with it. It's all the way up near towards Atlantic City, and they had my relatives all had either the third house from the beach or the fifth house and each of the houses were double decker. And they were all 5 bedroom, 1.5 baths, big living room, big dining room, big front porch, garages out back. And I guess my Aunt Barry's mother sold the last of the family buying homes down there in 63, 64. No, had to be 68. And she sold, and both floors were exactly the same because they rented the bottom and we had the top. And she sold the whole complex for like $25,000.
Hmm.
$2 million today,
Oh,
Yeah.
it'd
at least.
be 2 million.
More than that.
Yeah,
Marie's
at least
family.
2 million. They
Marie's family
eventually
had a
tore the house down, basically in that whole block,
Yeah,
and they rebuilt, you know.
that's pretty much what they do here where I live. They tear them down and build them mega mansions.
yeah.
Well,
Rosemary's
are
family had
you
a
right on
house
the
on
beach?
LBI that was 2 from the beach, and it was a little Cape cottage. I mean, a nothing. They didn't own it. Her father had sold it years ago. It recently, I think last year, sold for the lot sold for $1 million. They knocked down the house and built a huge house,
Mhm.
but the lot sold for $1 million.
Oh yeah, yeah. Location, location, location.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. But then are you going to go out and buy another one?
Right,
If
right.
you if you if you sell like the house that we had, we didn't go out and buy another one.
Yeah. What happened down here after Sandy? A lot of people that the houses have been in the family for years and years. They couldn't afford to rebuild, so they sold it. And then a lot of speculators bought it up. And of course
Mhm.
now there's more and more. The prices just keep going up. It's just crazy. I don't know where it's going to
Yeah.
stop.
Well, not only that, the flood insurance once you buy it is nuts.
Outrageous, outrageous. Actually, after Sandy, I dropped my flood insurance because it got to be so. I didn't have any flood damage from Sandy, so I said I'm not going to keep it. I didn't have a mortgage, so I dropped it. But it's outrageous,
Yeah,
really.
yeah,
But you got to have. I mean, you get a mortgage, you got to have it.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I know another woman. She was head of New Jersey Clean. Her and her husband had a house someplace on the Jersey Shore, and it was a small Cape Cod. It wasn't a huge house or anything, and their flood insurance was 35,000
I
a
don't doubt
year.
it. I don't doubt.
Yeah,
Well,
Are you serious?
they want you to raise them. They want you to put them on pilings, so they kind of hammer you when you don't do that. So
right, right.
Well, then do they drop your rates?
yeah, the rate. Yeah, if you put it on pilings, it would probably the rate would surely go down. Yeah, yeah. But that's a big business here now. Raising people's houses.
Yeah,
I I figure I'm not going to do it because if my house floods, the whole place is under about 6 feet of water. So
yeah. Hello,
Hello,
Peter.
Peter. Nice of you to
Hey,
wake up.
see Peter's with us.
Pardon me?
I see that you were with us.
Yeah, well, hi, Steph. How are you?
hi Pete.
Is it a little warm in North Carolina?
No, it's pretty nice, actually.
Oh,
Very
good,
nice.
good. You deserve that.
Hey,
It's been pretty nice up here too. I mean, finally got really warm, and I really like that.
Well, I'll tell you, I thought May sucked. We had more rain than we had sun here.
We've had some rain, and finally it's gone. And it was like 85 degrees today, and beautiful. And I was out biking, and
I think they said here in Atlanta, for the month of May, there were 20 days of rain.
really,
There's a lot of rain.
I saw
How
you
about
were
up
at
by
a
you,
lot.
Bob?
Hey Herb, I saw you were at a lot of graduations or some family
Yeah,
event.
2 graduations the same day,
Hey,
one at 10 in the morning and one at 7 at night.
long day.
Grandkids, I'll bet, huh? Grandkids?
Yeah. grandkids.
Yeah. Grandkids are growing up, man. We're getting older.
That's what I
Yeah,
said.
it's not
Oh
our
my
children
God.
anymore, Sav, it's our grandchildren.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Hey, look, I'm gonna have to get going. When's our next meeting gonna be?
Next one, well, let
October?
me ask you a question.
Yeah.
In the past couple of years, we did one in September, and almost nobody was there because, of things starting up close to Labor Day and so forth. So I was thinking wait until October, but I'll start it whenever we want.
Whatever you want to do, Morris, whatever you want, whatever you think is best.
What about you guys? What do you think, September versus October?
October's probably better because the 1st of September is Labor Day area, unless you want to push it out in September.
Yeah. Well,
That's a good point, Sam.
I can push it to the second week of September. Listen,
All
we
right,
can put it on any day.
sure. Doesn't have
Uh,
to be Thursday. Well,
yeah.
That sounds good.
All right. Maybe the second week of
It has to be
September
the
after
first week. It's hard enough to remember
yeah,
to
after
log
the
on the
holiday.
first Thursday, let alone change it.
Yeah, I just did the first Thursday of the month so that I would remember
No, October, September, or
it.
October.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna see you guys,
All
okay?
right.
I've got to go
All right,
watch
Seth, take it
TV.
Yeah,
easy.
I'll send out a note. I'll send out a note, Stav, of when we're gonna
Okay.
Well,
All
Nice
Sav,
to see you,
Sav,
Sav.
keep
Nice
looking
to see
young.
you.
Hey,
right, yeah,
Sam.
we'll see you, man.
Thank you.
I'll stay thinking young anyway.
All
Talk
right.
to you guys later. See you
Take
take
next
care.
time.
care.
Take care.
Yeah,
See you later.
Herbie, his taxes all done?
all done.
Are you doing extended people at all?
No,
No?
all my people got done.
All right.
Sam, are
You
you
still
spending
working, Herb?
the summer down at the beach, down in New Jersey?
I'm sorry, you're talking to me?
Are you, yeah, are you spending the summer down in New
Yes, sir.
Jersey?
Yes. We came down the 1st of May, and I probably won't leave until the 1st of October.
Wow, you stayed down. You really do stay down.
Well, yeah, I don't want to be a resident of New Jersey, though.
Hey, I go back and forth. I mean, from Delaware, I go back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah. It's
No,
each year as I get older, I feel less and less about commuting back and forth. So I got the end of July, I got to go back. I got a bunch of doctor's appointments all in one week. So other than
well,
that,
I'm glad somebody's getting older. I've decided not to.
oh wow, that's great. That's great. I got to tell you, I kind of envy you and your bike riding, but and I've been riding a bike forever too, but nothing compared to you. But the last year, I've been riding the electric bike more.
Oh no, you don't ride an electric. That's not biking. You know,
You,
oh, my oldest son Corbin came in for my birthday, and I went riding with him. And riding with him is difficult because he's just such a powerful, right, and in such great shape. But he was teaching me things, and today I went riding. I did about 20 miles, and I've slowed down a little bit, but he's taught me to reduce my gearage, so I have more. How do I say it? So it's much easier to ride. So I don't have to fight the pedal.
how long does that take, Pete?
I rode an hour and a half today. No big deal. No big deal. But it was really nice. But riding with him, he rode 102 miles yesterday in Montana.
Oh my
And
God!
and 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 he gained 5,600 feet of height. So it was like he was riding up a mountain.
Wow.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah,
Who,
but he said the last 15 miles he really felt it. I thought I would have needed an ambulance, but
He's killing me. Just you telling me.
yeah, I understand. He's killing me too, Sam. Killing
I,
me too.
who was that? Did 100
My,
and
my
some miles?
son, Corbin,
His nephew.
he's in such great shape. I mean,
Why don't you buy him a car? Then he won't have to use the bike as much.
I bought him a car.
No, okay.
Bought him a car. He's a ski instructor. He doesn't make a lot of money. And I don't know if you know a lot about Bozeman, Montana. A fix 'em up shack is $1 million. So nothing is cheap up there. In Bozeman or in Big Sky or And the further you get to the ski resort, the higher the prices go.
Oh, Aspen and those places are crazy.
Yep.
You
Same as
can't.
Big Sky.
Same thing in Jackson Hole,
Yep. And he skis a
Winter
lot.
Park.
He's been skiing a lot at the Yellowstone Club because he has clients there. And mountain biking. I mean, he takes them on severe mountain bikes. He has a couple of clients that have no concept of money, uh, which is good for him, I guess. They come with their entourages.
Their entourages.
Eh, what do I know? I'm I'm of the poor in direct comparison.
Well, this
I haven't.
everybody's done pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, we've all been fairly successful in what we've done in our endeavor,
Yep.
and I'm proud of all of it.
I haven't missed too many meals.
Neither have I.
You
In
know,
fact, I think might have had too many meals. Yeah.
I
Oh,
tried to ride.
And I've always had $1 in my pocket too. So hey, no complaints at all.
I still remember you up on the table in the fraternity house.
Okay, Pete, I don't remember that. I blocked that on my mind. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I should block it out. And you jumped with the raincoat on you, jumped off it, yelled Superman.
No.
Yeah,
I'm a much different person now.
yeah. You remember that, Sam?
No, I don't.
I liar.
That's forgotten. That's forgotten.
Yeah, I didn't forget that. God, I would have thought you were really drunk, but you might have been.
Possibility.
I didn't think any of us would really survive all of this, but we all came out of it pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no complaints.
I have no complaints. I've been more than blessed.
Yeah.
So many years ago, but it seems like just like yesterday in a lot of respects,
Yeah.
I don't know whether my mind is different or whatever be, but I think about it a lot of times, the
Sure.
school and what we've done and
Sure.
the guys. And then I question myself, do I really remember it exactly as it happened?
Of course not.
Well,
Well, some
Yeah,
things are
'cause I
very.
just found out Bob didn't graduate with me, and I would have bet money that he did.
Well, I found out a couple of years ago that Morris didn't graduate till a year or so after I thought he did graduate.
Yeah.
So
I was out with a friend and a client today for lunch, and he said, we met about 50 years ago. I said it was 57. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. I don't know where all the years have gone.
Well,
Bob,
we were
what year
talking-
did you graduate?
So I graduated 69, October.
Bob, when did you graduate?
I was supposed to graduate in 69, but then I got drafted. So it was like 73 when I finally got my degree.
Well, you got drafted.
you got drafted out of school?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
I
didn't know
had
that.
deferments for 5 years. I was 3 hours short of my degree, and they said, "You're going."
Holy crap!
I didn't know that.
And then I got married when I was in the army, and that didn't work. And yeah.
I had no idea you didn't graduate.
I
Right.
didn't either.
I thought it was like six. I knew you didn't do it in 68, but 69, I thought, yeah. Mhm.
Didn't
Yeah, I
we
should have
all
stayed at
go-
Hiram, Scott.
Bob, didn't we all end up in Illinois at the Playboy Club with you?
Yeah,
I remember Herb being there.
yeah, I was there,
I was there.
and Pete was there, and
I was there on a different occasion with Ron Weller.
Luft was there.
Who else? Luff was there?
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't remember Luff was there.
And Brock,
And who?
Dave
Dave
Brock.
Brock.
I think he was
Dave
with us
Brock.
Oh,
too,
Brock. Yes, he was.
because he wanted to play on. I
Where,
remember him. He played pool against one of the bunnies.
No,
Didn't do well.
really?
Yeah, and
I didn't,
it was one of those bumper pool games, not a
yeah, I
regular.
didn't remember that.
And she sunk all 5 balls, one, two, three, and it cost him like $10 to play. And she said, "Come on, we'll play again." And he says, "I'm not spending more money." She said, "I'm not going to charge you. I just never sunk 5 balls in a row like that." He still lost to her, but that
He
was a
had,
fun time
he had
there.
plenty of time to practice her.
where was the Playboy Club?
In
Chicago.
Illinois, it was in Chicago.
Lakeshore
Oh,
Drive.
in Chicago.
Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah, and I believe that's where Bob was from, right?
Yeah, I lived in suburban Chicago.
Right.
Now, what year was that?
Ooh, 67 maybe? I don't know, six or
Yeah,
seven.
66,
Yeah,
it
we
was,
were coming back to school, so it must have been, if you left in 67, so it must have been like, December or January of 67,
yeah, I think that's about right,
or
Herb.
January of 67, I guess, or
I
December
think
of
that's,
66,
I
because we
think that's
stopped there
about
on the
right.
way back to school.
I think you're correct. I, it seems like yesterday on some level and like never happened on another level.
You know,
Well, that's
I
what we were talking the other day, and I was saying, when we were kids, somebody in their 70s, you thought they were old, old people. Now
Well,
that
we
we're in our
are.
70s, you say, wait, I don't feel old. I don't feel like I'm in my 70s. And
Sure beats the alternative.
yes, it
yeah,
does.
I'm not
Yes,
kidding.
it does.
I hate to say you're totally right, Herb.
Yeah, I think right now Gary's the old man in here.
It's
Gary,
here right now, but I was going to ask Staff what date his birthday is because he's about a week or two older than me.
I believe that's right. You
I don't
know,
know.
I didn't think anybody was older than you, Gary.
I still got that paddle downstairs.
Thank
You
you.
better watch it, pal.
I still have
Yeah.
to get Sam to go biking with me.
When we should go across the Tappan Zee again. I went across the Tappan Zee a couple years ago. That was
I'd
fun.
love to go.
That was a fun short ride.
I'd love to go across the tap.
Yep.
I'd love to do that.
Then I
Are
went.
you, Peter, you still biking every day?
I wouldn't say every day, but I would say I would say 6 days a week.
5 days a week?
Yeah, at least. I used to bike 25 to 30. Now I'm biking 18 to 20. It's a concession to age, Gary.
I
That's
tried to
still,
ride a bike jet about a year ago, and I was going, I couldn't control that thing, and I used to love to ride.
I love to ride. I still like it.
I do too.
We have a rails to trail here out of Middletown. It goes right past 3 Mile Island. And a friend of mine uses an electric bike, and I can't keep up with that. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like a little motorcycle.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
Got a pedal.
remember Hiram's got the Honda 50
Oh yeah.
motorcycle?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
50 cc's. You
Oh
could
yeah.
run it for like $2 an hour.
Oh, I didn't know you could rent.
No,
Yeah.
I don't remember renting them, but I remember the 50cc.
Yeah,
That's where I had first. That's where I have a first motorcycle. I bought it from Bob. Honda 305.
You bought that for me?
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
Yes. Hello. That motorcycle was the biggest pig. It wouldn't do over 50 miles an hour.
I remember borrowing Mousie's. You remember Mouse? I borrowed his little motorcycle, and he showed me how to use it. He showed me everything but the gosh darn brakes. And then I crashed. I crashed out of. I went around Skinner Hall a couple of times, and then crashed into the thorn bushes or whatever they call those things.
I remember Sam took the Honda off with Bob Luft and they came back and smashed it up. And one time you ran out of gas, you turned on the reserve, but you didn't tell me. So I ran out on the reserve. You dirty dog.
Oh me.
Ooh, we had a good time out there. We all had a good time.
Sure did.
And we knew we had to get the work done too, so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the work there was as serious as at a like a quality first-rate college, but we all got a good education.
Yeah, we did. We did.
I I well, and I remember saying this. I remember saying it saved my life.
Yeah. Which is
Probably
true of most of us.
probably all of us, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because how long was it? We signed up for the Army, Mars,
Um,
September 16th of 1968.
right.
You signed up for the army?
We signed up for the Army.
Yeah.
I had gotten a call from my friend that I grew up in high school with. His mother was on the draft board, and he called and he said, "Mom wanted you to know your number's coming up next week." And so I talked to Gary. We drove to Fort Collins and joined the reserves.
Really?
Yeah,
Yep. And I spent 27 years in. And how many years did you have in Mars?
6.
6? Yeah.
Why'd you
I went
stay?
in the Army September 19th of 69.
Yeah.
You went in the army, Herb?
Yeah.
I didn't know they took Jewish guys in the army.
It was one of these inhale. Okay, you pass your physical.
What was your date? September or
September
16th?
19th.
September 19th.
You know, Herb and I were in Vietnam at the same time. We were both in Da Nang, right, Herb?
Yeah.
You went to
Yeah.
Vietnam?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Good time was had by all.
Protecting the home front.
Yeah, not exactly. I
Our
didn't know
We
barracks
you
were
made it
guys
right.
were.
Our barracks were right, maybe a tenth of a mile to the South China Sea, and nice beach when we had a day off.
Did you see any fighting or?
Just people shooting at us, but not that we could fire.
Oh,
They had a thing that said if you weren't infantry, you couldn't fire your weapon,
wow.
and I wasn't infantry.
Did you ever pull guard duty?
I pulled guard duty once or twice, and then
Yeah.
they changed my. I was a Spec 5, and they changed me from Spec 5 to a sergeant because a sergeant would get, or Spec 5 would get guard duty, a sergeant would get CQ. So they changed me to sergeant so that I'd only have to do CQ once
Uh,
in the year I was here.
Yeah, I just never wanted people shooting at me. Never sounded like a real opportunity.
Yeah.
We what type of unit were we in? Was that a combat
It was an engineer, combat engineer.
engineer? Yeah, combat engineering unit. We
Yeah,
joined.
because I went to summer camp with them. I think you were gone by then, Gary. You had graduated, and they put us over on, there was a base on the Mississippi somewhere, and
Really?
taught us how to make flue gas mines and use det cord to cut down trees, and it was fun.
It was
Fun.
fun?
Fun.
No, I'm sorry, Morris. That doesn't sound like fun to me.
I never heard of AIT being fun.
Well, I'll tell you, Sam, when I transferred back to Jersey, so I could get married, I had to get a new reserve unit.
Yeah.
And I wound up in 78th Division Infantry, and it was a training unit. And I was a clerk because I could type.
Yep.
And one nice, beautiful spring day in '69, I was looking out the window, and the guys outside were joking around and having fun and so forth. And I went into my captain and I said, "I want to change my MOS." And he said, why? And I said, because I don't want to do this. And he said, well, what do you want? I said, infantry.
Oh my God.
And he said, are you nuts? He said, guys would kill to have your position. I said, yeah. And he said, okay. And they let me change. And so I
Wow.
went, for infantry down in Fort Gordon for 6 months
Well,
and so forth. And I
I'll,
would have
I'll,
stayed in after I got out, but in '74, when my enlistment was up, I was starting my doctoral program, and the reserve unit met on Tuesday nights, every Tuesday night, and I knew I couldn't take the courses I needed to take and be in the
yeah,
reserves,
yeah.
so I went ahead and got out.
It's funny how things work out. I was trained to be a medic, and I went over to Vietnam as a medic, and you're processing through, and you talk about being able to type. The guy says, "Can you type?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You want to be a clerk?" I go, "Hell yeah!" So that was my tour. That was my tour in Vietnam.
Wow. I didn't
When
know
I
you were
enlisted,
there either.
when I
Pardon me?
enlisted, I said I wanted to go into accounting because I just graduated with my degree in accounting. Well, if I had said finance, I would have been in accounting, but because I said accounting, it was inventory control. So I was in a warehouse, learned to drive a forklift, all the good stuff. And then when I got to Nam, they were going to put me, or my second MOS was automotive repair parts, and they were going to put me in a motor pool. And then at the last minute, they said, we're going to put you in data processing. So I said, okay. So I worked in data processing there. And then after that, I went to Germany and I was in charge of the motor pool that I had no clue what I was doing.
That sounds about par for the army.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then my roommate volunteered to go back to Nam and he said, you know how to type? I'll talk to the first sergeant, I'll make you a company clerk. And I said, that works. Company clerk in Germany.
Wow. See, you got to travel the world, Herb.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I got really lucky. I didn't, you were talking about AIT. I skipped AIT. They said I'm a track mechanic, civilian acquired skill. Sent me out to Fort Carson, Colorado, and to an artillery unit. And I checked in. They said, "Do you know what a track vehicle is?" And so I guess it's a tank. You don't sound qualified. I said, I'm not. What do you want to do? They said, well, I have a degree in finance. Why don't you put me in finance? So they did. Changed my MOS and never pulled any duty. Got a 3 month early out.
Wow.
Hmm.
Pure luck. Pure
Well,
luck.
I got a 5 month early out, so I that wasn't too bad. If you're coming back with less than 6 months left in the service, they'd let you out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good deal. But then I turned around 3 years later and joined the reserves and stayed there for 21 years. So it was a good life.
You
So
guys get any
you
pension from
still
the
have
reserves?
TRICARE?
Absolutely. I make for a part-time job, I've got like $1,000 a month in pay plus medical that supplements your Medicare. In other words,
Yeah.
that difference there. It's best insurance going. Best insurance going. I
Well, that's what I have,
Is that
TRICARE.
TRICARE?
TRICARE, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
you deserve it. I mean, you put in a lot of time.
Well, the benefits turned out to be pretty good. So,
Good.
it's
I
Good
great.
for
didn't
you.
realize you stayed in that long.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. It got to be where I got 13 or 14 years in, and I wanted to leave, and I go, I got all this time in, so I hung it in for another 6 years and
Yeah,
worked
but at
out.
that time, we didn't even think about what life insurance was
Oh
going to
God,
cost
no, God, no.
and how important it
Well, it's
would be.
just like Herb said, we used to think 70 was old. Now we're looking at 80 and going, well, maybe that really is old.
Mhm.
Now,
It
what
really
what
is,
rank were
Sam.
you? What rank were you when you got out?
E7.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you
retired
got a
as an
hell of a lot
E8.
quicker than I did.
I
I made E8
Okay.
in 12 years,
Wow.
yeah.
which was unheard of.
Did
When
you have
I
to?
left Colorado, the engineering unit, I moved back to Jersey and I was looking for a unit and I wound up with 1153rd USARF school.
Okay.
And like a lot of you were saying, they asked me if I could type. And I said, absolutely, we can take you. And I eventually got into the S3 section, operations, and became the operations sergeant. And they kept promoting me. And I kept saying, okay, let's do it.
Well, that's the one thing about the reserves. Or you could go as far as you wanted to go if you were willing to put the effort
Yeah.
into it. You know?
Yeah. And we used to meet two Thursday nights for 4 hours
Mhm.
and a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last few years I
Actually,
was in, they were very flexible about attendance. So,
when I was getting ready to get out, I was an E6, and they promoted me to staff sergeant, E7, so that I would, hoping I would stay in. And I said, "Tell you what, if you give me a commission instead, I'll stay." No, we can't do that.
Or they could have if they
So
wanted.
I wound up with an E7.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah.
What
Hey,
does that mean?
Gary, where were you in Colorado?
What,
In the service in Colorado?
when?
No,
Where?
I have trouble
where were
hearing.
you?
Fort
What
Collins.
rank?
He was,
Fort
I,
Carson?
the reserve unit was in Fort Collins.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Fort Collins, Colorado, yeah.
Okay.
What
And
does it
that's
mean
when
to be an E7?
Pardon?
What does that mean to be an E7 or an E6?
It means you get two stripes under and you get a driver with your Jeep.
Ah,
I
okay.
made E5 after 5 months. Don't ask me how.
that's how many stripes you have. Yeah, they got
Yeah.
1, 2,
So if I was a
3,
sergeant, I
4.
had 3 stripes, but I had the
Or that's because you probably did. You go over to Vietnam as a PFC?
no, as an E5.
You went to Vietnam as an E5
Yeah,
when you went over?
yeah.
Wow, because I went over as a PFC and got E5 within 3 or 4 months. But wow.
I had at one point I was stationed at Fort Lee, Virginia.
Okay, so you were doing time before you went to Vietnam then.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
we had we had our 3 hours of Vietnam training one afternoon,
Which made you fully qualified, of course.
of course, and that was the first time I ever heard. When we got done, I was getting in the truck, and the driver yelled at me. He says, "Hey, Bird Sergeant, get up here. You don't ride in the back, you ride in the front." And I thought, okay,
Do you
So
guys
you have,
remember Steve Andreas?
I'm like,
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
Steve Andreas.
Yeah.
yeah,
He had been in the Army before he joined T.
Yep.
He
Yep.
came out. He was a Green Beret.
Yep.
no, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was the real deal.
But he was, but a lot of things I learned from him. He said, you see all this stuff. He said, but really, all we do in Vietnam is we train troops on other stuff.
Yeah.
That we don't go out in the jungles and all that kind of stuff. He said we're basically a training unit. And he told me one time he got in trouble because he was screwing around and he took a fake grenade and he tossed it in an office where
God.
all of his people were. And they found
Yeah. That'll get you in
and they
trouble.
found out who did it.
I'm sure everyone was ducking under their desk or
Yep.
wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one who used to jump out of the windows, wasn't it? Second story? Who was that?
That wasn't Steve.
Because he was paratrooper,
Yeah.
one of the birds. I thought it was Steve.
when I was in basic training, they had the paratroopers come over to us, and they gave us this big pep talk about become a paratrooper. You make extra money when you jump out of a plane. And how many guys want to do that? Come over here. And a bunch of guys jumped up and ran over. And I'm thinking, are you nuts? Who wants to jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
I can't, I can't fathom that one. Jumping out of a plane,
No. Mm-mm. And
My oldest daughter spent 4 years enlisted, went out, finished her degree, and went back in as an officer. And she went to airborne school down in Fort Benning, Georgia.
uh-huh.
And she was afraid of heights,
Oh my God.
but she made it through airborne school. We went down and watched her jump out of the plane.
I can't imagine. They'd have to push me out the door. Yeah. And
Hey
people,
guys, I gotta go. So you have a pleasant summer, and
Sam, I'll talk to you.
I'm around. Okay.
I'll give you
All
a
right.
call.
Okay. Take care,
Yeah.
guys.
Okay, we're going to
be
get
well.
together as
Okay.
soon as somebody gets better.
Okay.
No.
Take care.
Okay, instead of tomorrow.
Yeah, we're
No
talking
sweat.
about, Gary, we're talking about towards the end of June.
What happened?
Perfect.
It froze.
Why
Take
don't
care.
you guys get together and just have a
What?
picture
Oh,
of
heck.
Morris?
Hey,
And then you don't have to look at him other than the picture.
Yeah, hey Herb, why don't you're not doing anything right? Why don't you fly up and Bob fly up and have lunch with us?
Oh, yeah.
The end of June would work for me.
My last name's not Labella. I don't have that kind of money.
Oh, come on, I'm buying, Herb. I'm buying.
No, for the other guys, we were going to have 4 of us for lunch tomorrow, but Morris came down with something and
No.
I couldn't make it. So we really want to have the 4 of us.
Yeah,
I'm back on the 29th of June, and I'm available from 29th of June through September.
all right. Well, let's look at the 29th of June.
29th of June. What day is that?
29th, 30th, I
That
don't care.
happens to be a Sunday.
Well, 29th, 30th, 31st, I don't care.
Let's do
Okay.
the 30th.
Okay.
Let's do the 30th. That's a Monday.
30th is fine.
All right, the 30th?
Hey, Morris,
Yeah.
I want you to get better.
What?
You get better.
No, I hope so.
Me too.
I hope so.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys, and this has gotten screwed up too many times.
Yeah, yeah. So you
Well,
guys,
you guys are slumming
Bob
it. You
and-
want to come to Atlanta.
Herb, if you're not doing anything, June 30th, stop in and have lunch with us.
Yeah. Hey, Herb, come on up.
Gonna
I got a
drive
couple of
15
extra
hours.
bedrooms. Pete's got
Bob, fly
a
on
hotel.
up. Come on.
No, I'd love to, but I don't know. I hate to fly anymore. It's such a pain in the ass,
Yeah,
particularly through Atlanta.
Where are you, Bob?
I'm outside Atlanta.
Okay.
Atlanta airport is the worst.
Yeah, it is
it's
challenging.
not as bad as Newark.
Oh, Newark is really
Well,
isn't that
that's
good.
dangerous.
Yeah,
Well, they got so many damn big airports. And
Yeah,
then the
Where you
airport's
live,
not
Bob?
that
What, you're
far
about
from it.
2 hours to the airport, 2.5?
I have to allow 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm flying to Europe on Wednesday, and I'm leaving from Dulles. I just wouldn't go through Newark.
yeah. Well, right now you might not be able to because they reduced the flights by over 50%.
Well, they don't have flight controllers.
Right, right.
It's
I'll tell you, that's got to be one tough job.
No doubt, but you can't.
They had
go
one
and
flight
fire these
controller
people.
and they had one air traffic controller and a trainee that were
Right.
doing 107 flights an hour.
You really have to.
I mean, that's it.
You got to be on your ball.
Right,
You're
and you
crazy.
gotta. It's a lot of tension doing that
Yes,
job,
it is.
Yeah.
and
They
and
got
they
40-year-old
fire a
equipment
bunch
too.
of them.
Yeah.
I don't know what these guys are thinking about firing air traffic controllers, but they call me a liberal because of that.
Peter, you ever fly Virgin Atlantic?
No, I've never flown.
When I used to
I've flown
commute
Allegan out of Harrisburg into Florida.
when I used to commute to London to work, I flew Virgin Atlantic back and forth, and
Okay.
it's a great. At least it was at that time. It's been 20 years ago.
No, it's still
It was really a great airline.
supposedly it's still good.
Yeah, they would come and pick your luggage up for you and check it
Mhm.
through for you, and you'd go straight to the lounge, and it was really a good airline.
Richard Branson.
Yeah,
Is that who owns that?
He did. He started it.
I forgot that. So many things I've forgotten. Well, it's nice to see you guys,
yeah,
and so should I put on my calendar the 30th or
yeah. Put on the
All right.
30th.
The 30th
Monday.
to Monday.
It's a Monday?
Yeah.
It's a Monday. Yep.
I will not forget. It'll be on
All
my.
right. Well,
on
I'm
my-
going to send you a reminder
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
Yep.
you.
so you can add it
Sure.
to your calendar.
You be well and be well in Atlanta and go see my dear friends down there that I grew up with in the Bronx.
You have friends in Atlanta?
They all retired there because the real estate taxes there are for elderly people are zero.
It
Not
depends
true.
what county. It just depends on what county you're in.
Yes, it
Oh, they're
is.
in Roswell.
Okay, so that's Cobb County. Is that Cobb or Gwinnett? I don't know, but they get a break.
Yeah, they
I'm in
don't get.
Fulton County, and Fulton County doesn't have any money, so we get a little bit of a break. But even the taxes, when you're paying the taxes down here, aren't as bad as what they are up in Pennsylvania.
Well, do you have state income tax there?
Yeah, we have income tax, but they don't tax you on a lot of things. Like they don't tax your, for the most part, a good chunk of your pension, Social Security. They give you a
Really?
break on other stuff too, so
So it is
tax
a
rate
lower.
isn't that bad.
So you're telling me that people in Georgia live off the people in the Northeast?
No, we don't talk to the people in the
Yeah,
Northeast.
Yeah, we're supposed to support you guys, except the new FEMA guy didn't know June has hurricanes.
Yeah.
So when the hurricanes come, God bless you.
Yeah, that guy didn't know that there's hurricane season. I
Right,
don't want
that's
to I don't want to tell him there's tornado season too, but
what it's it's pretty humorous, what's happened to our world.
each day is a new comedy routine.
Yeah.
Yes, it does appear to be so. So when you get a hurricane, uh, and you want FEMA help, I guess it won't be there. What can I tell you?
Mm.
But
Hey,
I'll be
Harvey,
there for you, Herb.
does your
What?
condo association have a good reserve?
Our association.
Does it have a good reserve study and account and yeah,
Yeah, you have to. In
yeah.
fact, George is getting ready to pass a law that says you have to have a reserve study. In the past, they never made you have one. But the place
Yeah,
that I'm
Jersey
living has a nice
Jersey
reserve
passed a
study.
law not too long ago. I mean, our community is good. Our reserve account's got about 5 million in it, and so we don't have we're not a condo. We're individual houses, but yeah, they passed a law, and if your reserves aren't sufficient, and the state will decide what sufficient is, then they will set your reserves and your dues uh, to where it gets it up anywhere from within 2 years or 10 years.
Yeah.
So
We had a board up until a few years ago that they didn't want a reserve. They wanted to keep the HOA as low as possible.
yeah,
Of course they do.
And then the last board and now the board that I'm on, we said, no, we got to get the reserve up. And they passed
what
it.
are your condo dues?
Well, I live in a strange development. I'm in a condo building, but
Yeah.
there's also a townhouse community,
Oh, okay.
another condo building, and single family homes. So there's like 5 associations in one community, and you pay HOA fees to 2 of them. The master that takes care of everything, and then our building. And we're paying like 800 a month, 850 a month.
Hmm.
So $10,000 a year.
We pay 210 a month, and people complain when we raise it to 215.
Well, down at the beach down in Delaware, I'm paying 5,200 a quarter
Hmm.
Whoa.
for the flood and
At our
everything.
last meeting when we were last December, got a lady stood up there and said, you keep raising the HOA fees, it's getting ridiculous. When I first bought here in 2012, they were $350 a month. And afterwards we were talking and we were laughing. We said, well, does she want to sell her place for what she paid for it in 2012?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
You know,
Ours
people,
hasn't been bad. When we moved in here 20 years ago, it was 165. It's now 215.
that's not bad.
No, no, it's cheap, but we're not a condo. We don't have all of the kinds of things a condo does. We just have, the clubhouse and the roads and tennis court and pools and things that way.
Hmm.
yeah, our place has the HOA covers all the maintenance outside,
Right.
the pools. We have two pools,
Mhm.
meeting house, and water. So
Do any of you guys go anywhere for the winter, or do you just stay where you are?
just stay here.
Yeah. It does get cold down in Georgia, doesn't it?
Yeah, for about an
Not
hour.
really.
For about an hour.
About an hour?
Mhm.
There's a lot of times that it could be down in the single digits in the winter, but then the sun comes out and it warms it up a little bit. So it's not as bad as, weeks and weeks of below freezing temperatures and no sunshine.
So you get the sunshine also. Well, we always have the dark Pennsylvania clouds and the whole nonsense.
Right.
Hey, Bob, do you have a house or do you have a condo?
I'm in a house. I'm in a 55 plus development,
Oh, okay.
and it's all homes. We're about halfway built. We've got about 600 homes, about 600 or 700 more to go. And the thing that concerns me, we're talking about reserves. The builder here, I don't think he's going to leave us with any kind of decent reserves. So we're looking at um, assessments and so forth. So I don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen. It's a
Do
beautiful
you
place.
do you own your roads?
Yes.
Yeah, so do we. And
Yeah, when our
that's really
builder
the
here
big
that built
expense.
this community, when he left, he was collecting money for reserves, but he never turned any over because he was going bankrupt anyway.
Yeah.
So we started out with a zero
Enroll.
reserve.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, they've talked about turning over the roads to the town so that we wouldn't have to reserve for them. But then people find out that, okay, and that means you can't have a gatehouse anymore because
Um,
if it's a public road, anybody can drive on it. And that ended that discussion.
mhm.
There's a lot of that stuff that I wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
This was our starter home. You know, we did buy a bigger home when the kids were in middle school, but that had more problems than this house has. So I just redid the whole basement for the kids and we stayed here and then eventually they were going to college and all. And now I'm in a 3 bedroom rancher and there's no major steps.
Yeah.
Uh,
Rosemary and I've talked about this house is just too big anymore. We bought it so it had lots of room for the kids when they came and
a
all that
nice
kind of
house
stuff.
just sold this week
Yeah.
across the street from me.
Yeah.
Uh,
And we
90,
never go upstairs.
a 94-year-old lady passed away who I've
Hmm.
known forever. Her and her husband, he died several years ago. And Jim and Minnie, uh, their house went for sale. I don't know what the pricing is yet. What apparently a single lady is buying it, but I would imagine it's like 400,000.
Yeah.
You know, I can't imagine packing everything up and moving. I really, it would be overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Pete.
I get
Well,
these
think about
phone calls
moving
all the
from
time.
Pennsylvania to Atlanta. That was, and then moving into an apartment first. So we had rented two storage units at one of these storage places for almost a year. till we figured out what we were going to do with all our junk.
Yeah.
I, I, I just couldn't imagine moving.
I can't, I can't either.
They're going to take me out of here feet first.
That's how I feel
Yeah.
about it,
Hey,
Gary.
listen, I get calls all the time from these guys that, would you consider selling your house? And my
No.
answer is always absolutely, absolutely. Oh, really? Well, how much do you want? 1.5 million cash. And that ends that conversation because it's probably worth about 800,000.
I have
You know,
no interest in selling my house.
but if
Well, I did
somebody
that the
offered me a
one
million
time.
five, I'm gone.
The one guy called me, and I was stupid enough to answer the phone, and he said, "How much do you want for your condo?" I said, $1 million. He said, "Well, it's not worth that." And I said, "You're the one that wants to buy. I'm not the one that wants to sell." So
Yeah.
That was
I
a
never
good
got
answer, Herb.
never
Good
got a
answer.
phone call again from him. So
Hey,
I
Herb,
get
was
them
that
periodically and I give them the same line and they say, oh, well, I'll
But
get
I'm,
to you.
but I'm in sort of like a really good spot. Pete, you should know because Cherry Hill,
Yep.
I'm 7 miles from Philadelphia. I can be in New York in 2 hours,
2 hours.
hour and a half.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Washington in 2.5.
yeah,
Down the shore in an hour and a half. The mountains, I don't get many tornadoes. We don't get
Flooded.
the big storms that come up.
Yeah.
This is sort of a real nice area to
It
settle
is.
in.
You know,
when we
I,
lived in
I,
Lancaster, we used to bitch
I
about
do
go to the
believe,
Jersey
Gary, that
Shore. It was
I,
3.5 hours to get to the Jersey Shore. Now in Atlanta, to go to any of the beaches, it's a good 6 hour drive in any
oh yeah,
direction.
a long way. But
But
I
we,
mean, the older we all get, sooner or later, travel is going to become less relevant.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I have my bicycle.
I have my bicycle. Yeah. Just going to Delaware, which is 3 hours for me
Yeah.
and 3.5, let's say, and it's starting to get to be more difficult every year.
well, Pete, do you go down there and stay down there?
Yeah, we go down and we'll stay for 2 weeks, and then we'll come back to the house, and because there's always something that you want to make sure everything's okay up here. Because I'm
Hmm.
neurotic. Uh, I like it up here. I do like it up here. I have a pool. I have a nice house. And I like biking in Harrisburg, and I like biking at the shore. So I use both places.
But no, I'm I'm not wanting to go anywhere. Taxes are reasonable.
Well, I understand.
We're part of what they call the senior freeze, where several years ago my taxes say 6,200 a year. Next year it's 6,500. Well, I pay the 65 and the state sends me back three. I'm
Well,
frozen at 62 and it won't go up from there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, even if it went to 7,000, I pay the 7,000. They send me back 800.
wow.
Yeah,
Were you,
it's not
were
bad.
were
New
you a
Jersey,
school
for if
teacher?
you're a senior citizen, is not bad. I don't
Right.
pay income tax in this state on my pension, military pension. I don't pay it on the Social Security. Um, yeah, and that's a lot of my investments that I have. You know, they're not they're not taxed. I'm happy.
Were you a school teacher?
No, I was
I
in
was.
transportation
Who
and
said I was?
I was a school teacher
Oh,
for
really?
14 years.
Wow. Wow.
And then along came an insurance company and hired me away for more money than I'd have made if I'd have stayed another 10 years teaching.
I I didn't know that,
Yep,
Morris.
yep.
And what did you do, Gary?
I was in transportation, trucking, buses, in sales, operations, parts, management,
Ah,
and primarily in the trucking side. And have you ever heard of Cummins Engine Company,
of course.
the big diesel? That's
I've
who I
owned
retired
I own
from.
I've owned their stock for years.
Yep. Um, I had I retired from Cummins.
Great company.
Yeah, yeah. They've treated their employees very, very well
I
over the
didn't
years.
know that, but they've always been a prosperous company, and I mean
Mhm.
it's not Apple Computer, but it does a great job and made me a lot of money
Yes. Hmm.
because I held it long term.
So I sold motor coaches, big buses. That was the most fun I ever had in business.
Is that right?
Selling those. I used to drive a 45-foot motor coach like you would take a car out for a demo ride.
Really?
Yeah,
I'd be a,
I've
I'd be
driven
a,
them up to Montreal, down, flown to Florida, picked them up, brought them here, took one to Dallas, Texas. Yeah, that was a fun job.
I'd be afraid to drive one of those things.
They're very
Really?
easy, and you just got to know your mirrors because you can't see out the back window.
I know that.
So you got to trust if you want to see what happens, say going over a bridge and it's real narrow,
Oh
what you
God.
do is you look at your mirrors. And when you see the yellow line, you put the side of the bus on the yellow line, you go right across.
Well,
They're
I guess
easy.
you got comfortable with it and you did it well.
Oh yeah. I had fun with it.
Good for you. I
But
didn't. I thought you were teaching. Morris was teaching. Bob, what did you do?
I was a national accounts manager for a hand tool manufacturer.
Interesting.
It-
You
it-
know, we all had somewhat interesting jobs and all came out of it okay.
yeah. And as I say, Cummins treated me very, very well. I
Hey guys,
saw,
my internet is giving me fits here. You guys are coming and going, and I don't know.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna sign off here
All right,
Bob,
Bob. Good
before I
to
lose
see
you
you.
nice
altogether.
to see you, Bob.
Good to see you
Take it
guys
easy, Bob.
good to see
next
you.
time.
See you in September.
Have a wonderful summer.
Thanks, you too, guys.
I
See ya.
love.
Well,
I
I'm going to
love.
leave also, so you guys can plan where
Herb,
you're
you be
going for
well.
lunch.
All right.
I guess I'll leave too at this point. Morris, I want you to take care of yourself and get better.
Yep, I am. And I'll send you a note.
All
All
right.
right, well,
You guys
I'll
have a
put it
good
on my
one.
calendar
Have a good
already.
summer.
Sounds good.
Gary, you be well.
And you also, Pete.
Thank you, Gary.
Keep up the good health.
Now, yeah, all of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's hang in there.
All right.
Right.
Bye.
All right. Take care, Pete.
Take care.